It is February 20 something. It is February 27th, 2025. So, back in, I think it was December, because I was clearly wearing red for the holidays, I filmed a goodbye video. And I had every intent and purpose to post that video as a final goodbye to this channel, Coffee Reading Writing. At that time, as many of you know, my brother had been in the hospital for almost a year. Before that, we were pretty much caretaking him as he was bedridden 3 years prior to that. So life was a handful for a while, and I realized I needed to make some changes, and one of those changes was saying goodbye to AuthorTube and moving away from the YouTube channel. I felt like I was not in a place to contribute anything to it, and I made a whole, I edited the video the first time. It was a 26-minute video. Then my computer decided it ran out of storage and was malfunctioning, so I had to spend a whole day cleaning it out, transferring files into an external hard drive, buying another external hard drive overnight to put stuff in it. And somehow in the midst of all that, the 26-minute video I spent 2 days editing disappeared. So, needless to say, I was not excited about re-editing that video anytime soon. So that is where the procrastination began. And days turned into weeks, and I had, again, every intention of editing that video and posting it as soon as possible. And so here we are. It is February 22nd. No, it's not. It is February 27th. And I had a moment. For those who don't know, on February 9th, my brother passed away. And so, after a very long journey, he is no longer in pain. He is no longer suffering. He is finally free. On February 22nd, which was the past Saturday, we held his funeral, and it was a beautiful memorial. Many people came. And so now we find ourselves wondering, what is our new normal? For the last 4+ years, we have been caretakers to him. And for the last year, we fought alongside him, hoping he would one day come home. He never made it home. He fought for 11 months in that hospital, and his body was finally ready to let go. So, for the last couple weeks, I have had to really take a look at my life and how I want to move forward. And there are many things still up in the air for me and my mother. We were left with a lot of financial struggle and burden, and so we're trying to figure our way out of that. And I had to ask myself some questions, and I had to figure out, okay, I have every opportunity to make changes. I have every opportunity to figure some stuff out. And because of the last year, my writing did take a huge backseat. My mind was just not in a place to give myself to anything creatively, and I tried many times in the last year. I tried so many times, but it was very it was sprinkled here and there, but mostly riddled with procrastination. So I find myself in an interesting crossroads because I'm feeling that itch to write again, and to write consistently, and really stick to writing schedules and projects that I have lined up. And I am eager to find my way back to it. And in addition to that, I realized I need to find a way to make money for me and my family. And so I have been looking for remote jobs. Not easy, very difficult. There are definitely not easy ways to find decent non-scam like remote jobs. And in addition to applying and waiting to hear from some of those, I have been contemplating possibly starting up my CRW small business again, doing some form of art. And so I have ideas. I do have some ideas of potentially doing some homemade watercolor products that kind of can be printed on demand situation and then sold in the CRW Etsy that I used to use to sell the mugs that I had helped design and sold back in 2015 when we first started Coffee Reading Writing. I'm looking into doing that, and I kind of realized that while I may not use this channel the way I used to use it for just vlogging the writing journey, I may want to use it as a means for some accountability, kind of just recording the journey of maybe productivity vlogs or small business vlogs or art vlogs, or I don't know yet. So I may not fully put this channel to rest. I will not immediately jump in and say I will be filming and uploading weekly. Maybe more like tri-weekly, every third week of the month maybe to start off. I'm not entirely sure. When it comes to Twitch, I plan to start doing more body doubling streams. So not so much sprint heavy streams, but more open-ended as a productivity creative corner where people who just need to have someone else doing something with them helps make them productive in whatever it is they're doing, be it a hobby or something work related. So that is something that I plan to potentially do, and I will be doing various projects while body doubling videos, or streams I should say. So sometimes I'll write, sometimes I'll paint, sometimes I'll maybe read, I don't know. We'll do other things. Hence I renamed it kind of like a creative corner over on Twitch, and keeping that a little more open-ended while I'm coloring here. So the last, I would say, couple of weeks, I have been really trying to figure out how to take control of my health. Because unfortunately the medical system isn't and hasn't been the most reliable for me. And so I've really had to look at figuring out how I can take control for my own self. And I actually today had a wonderful appointment with a PCOS nutritionist that I found on TikTok. Her and her team I really liked what she was representing and the knowledge and information she was sharing, because there are a lot of coaches online who present a very restricted lifestyle option for PCOS. And for those who aren't familiar, PCOS is something that will be a part of you for the rest of your life. There's no cure as of yet. And so at this moment, you need to make changes, lifestyle changes that can be sustainable for the rest of your life, because the moment you stop engaging in those lifestyle changes, your body flares. And the flares are drastic and they are crippling, both mentally and physically. I've been through a few myself, and I am currently still in one. And it's been very difficult to kind of get back to the land of the living in the midst of everything else that's been happening in my life. So, meeting with this PCOS nutritionist, it was one of the most encouraging medical experiences of my life. After so many gynecologists, doctors, etc., pretty much gaslit me in regards to my hormones and my PCOS and all the things that my body has, struggled with, and, what's the norm for it to do that is not the norm for a healthy person, especially a woman. It was very nice to finally feel validated, feel understood, commiserated with on how sad it is that women are constantly being, failed, women or people with female reproductive systems constantly being failed by the medical system, telling them that their symptoms aren't real or that their stories are not true, and it doesn't fit their black and white notion of health, and so they deny your medical history that is your truth, because it just doesn't fit with what they know. So instead of believing you, they will shut you down. So it was a very encouraging initial meeting, and we're going to be working together, thankfully, because I have insurance, and it's a cheap insurance, but thankfully it covers majority of the fee. So that's encouraging. I have been seeing a therapist for the last 5 months, and that has also been an extremely necessary step, because I was drowning, guys. I was definitely drowning with everything happening with my brother and my family, that I desperately needed a lifeline, and thankfully I found the right therapist after past experiences where I didn't really have good therapy experiences, to sound redundant. And so those two things right now are giving me a lot of hope. I'm trying to understand grief right now. I'm trying to give myself permission to grieve, and I'm giving myself permission to realize that it doesn't have to look like any one thing. Grief for every individual is unique, and I am working through mine. I mean, it's only been a couple weeks, and it doesn't even feel like it's been that long. It feels like it happened days ago. And so I know that this very well could be me just having an extreme reaction, and this could be me being impulsive, or maybe this is motivation that's going to lead to something productive and good for my life. And writing is still very much a part of that. Just because I'm not continuing on AuthorTube doesn't mean I am not continuing to write and pursue publishing and continue self-publishing. Those things are still very much a part of my journey and my goals. So in some format or another, that will also be incorporated. in whatever it is I do show on this channel moving forward. All in all, I guess this isn't goodbye. This is a hi. We're going to pivot. We don't exactly know in what ways we're pivoting, but we are going to pivot. But we're not saying goodbye. So let's see what happens. Let's see what unravels in the coming months as I make some big changes, as I grieve, as I take some matters into my own hands and try to make things happen. So hopefully we're in this still together, and I want to thank you guys who have been watching. I want to thank you all new subscribers. There were a few new subscribers before the transition happened. I apologize that I kind of disappeared, because in my head I was ready to pretty much archive this entire channel. But I don't think it's quite time for me to say goodbye. It's just significantly going to look different. So there will not be any more YouTube streams that I know of. And if there are, they're not going to be AuthorTube related or Sprint related or anything like that. I am also not going to be on any AuthorTube channels. So even though we're all friends and we all meet up backstage time to time together, I personally will not be showing up on anyone's streams anymore. And so we'll see what happens, we'll see what unfolds, but I hope you guys are having a better 2025 than I am. Granted, yeah, the state of the world is kind of not in the best place either. It's been a lot, guys. There's been too much. It's been too much. My therapist is keeping me afloat and sane, so yay for that. I hope good things happen. I will say this: in the time of uncertainty, in a time of revolution, in a time where the systems that govern us are failing us, are threatening our freedoms and rights, historically, art has been the soul of many revolutions. Creating, not only is it, I think, necessary for us individually, but I think as community, we are in very much need of art, because as big things divide us, big things threaten us, big things cause fear to scare us, art and creating art is the thing that reconnects us, reawakens our soul to remember the good things that matter in life: love, kindness, again, community. So all to say, as difficult as this season may be to create content, to create art, please keep doing it. Don't stop. And don't feel guilty for taking the time to do so, because no matter what comes of it, not only is it healing for our own souls and mental well-beings individually, but if you are in a place to share it, whatever that looks like, it is also a tool, a revolutionary tool that brings community together, that gives us a voice in a time where we feel voiceless, and reminds us of true beauty. That at its core is the most important thing. And true beauty being nature, being this earth, being one another, being showing love and kindness to each other. So those elements that can be easily forgotten in the midst of despair, frustration, and valid anger, we need to balance it out with the beauty. We need to balance it out with the hope. And so art reminds us of those things and gives us a balm to our souls in a time of darkness. It is the light in the darkness. It is the stars that we can see in the darkness. So I encourage you guys, please keep creating. Please keep making your art, whatever that looks like. Know that it matters. Know that it makes a difference, not just for yourself individually, but for a community, for all of us. So take care of each other, and I guess I will see you guys soon. Bye.